Hey everyone, I'm Alexis, the Ego Queen. Love me, I know you do. Anyway, today I finally got the book in, and I'm going to be reading over 8th edition and how to play. Now, a lot of things did change from 7th to 8th, a lot of things for the better, some things for the worse, in my opinion. But we're going to go through it today, or at least some of it, until I get bored, or I just kind of meh. Alright, so I am not going to be showing you the book because that's flat out copyright, and I can't do that even if I am telling you about it. So sorry, but I can't do that. So you're just going to have to look at my pretty little face. Anyway. I am super excited. Like, I played a couple of games of 8th edition already, and I can tell you the game is faster. But some things are a little bit buggy. Yeah. So, there are 3 ways to play now. There's open play, which pretty much no one is going to play. Then there's narrative play, which some people are going to play, especially if they're doing campaign games and all sorts of things like that. And then there's match play. Now, match play is when you finally use the points. Narrative play is when you use the power levels, which personally I kind of like the idea of just using the power levels and not being a dick. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit. The power levels, I really like them. Like, they're so simplistic. So, the next thing we run into is the data sheets. If you guys don't know how to use a data sheet, the rule books and the codexes all tell you how to use them. It's very simple, and you'd have to be really stupid not to understand these ones. So I'm really not going to go over these. Yeah, I don't see the need to go over this. But I will go over the basic stat line of anything that you're going to run into. So I'm going to go over the profile really quick. A on the unit's profile is attack. It tells you how many attacks you make in close combat, and certain weapons boost this. But charging no longer gives you a +1 attack. That's very important. Like, that was huge in 7th edition. Now 8th edition, you don't get the charge bonuses, so that's gone. Leadership changed drastically, and I'm going to be getting into that more later on. But what it says right here is, this reveals how courageous, determined, or self-controlled a model is. Well, I'm pretty sure since it's plastic, it's pretty well self-controlled. Then we have the save, which is the armor save, which also applies now the cover save modifiers, which I really like. The save of a model can now be altered by the AP of a weapon and cover saves. So it's very important to get and learn. It's very simple, and I really like it. Unit composition tells you how much... oh wait, I missed a few. I am sorry. S is for strength. You know, you just do basic math and you can figure that shit out. Pretty simplistic. Then we move on to unit composition. Tells you how many can and can't be in the model, in the unit. A unit being destroyed means everybody in the unit composition has to die along with... Well, just everything in that unit has to die. War gear. This tells you what your guys carry into battle. It's pretty simple. Like, he's got a bolt gun, a frag and crack grenade, and a knife. Okay, so that's all the weapons he can use. Abilities. This tells you the special rules, special abilities of each individual model or each individual unit. What else do we have? Weapons. It usually lists the weapons that you can take along with it, but now there is a big giant thing for revealing what weapon does what at the end of the books, which I really like. I find it very interesting. The index is very, very quick and easy to find. Then we have armor penetration, AP. How good the weapon is at getting through armor. The AP is something that can actually modify certain weapons, such as an AP -1 on a 2-up armor saved guy will now be 3-up, because simple math. But if you have something like an orc boy who has a 6+ and you take 2 away from him, there is no chance of you saving that wound on a d6. Damage. Damage is how many wounds a certain weapon does to a model. When a weapon damages a model, it actually hurts it on its wounds. But first you have to apply save modifiers and all sorts of other things. You have to compare the weapon to the person that's being hit before you apply the damage. Now, if a weapon does a mortal wound, those spill over into other units, such as if a tactical squad is hit by a mortal wound weapon 2 that deals 2 damage, it's going to kill 2 tactical marines. But if a weapon just deals a flat 2 damage, that means only one guy is going to die because he himself is going to take those 2 damage and die. Now, this doesn't apply for a volley of bolter fire into you, which deals 1 damage. It's just going to go through each guy. But it's for, like, monstrous creatures and stuff like that. Now, if I am wrong on that, please tell me in the comments that are live right now. And I have Ghost taking down your comments. He is with me right over there. He's a nerd.
Might want to read this. Someone has donated.
Oh, they have. What did they say?
Looks like you're finally making a proper army in the background. Hashtag Eldari for life. That was 25 pounds.
Never. Actually, I am sorry, Ghost. That is your model.
Yeah, we're gonna put it right.
Okay. Sorry about that. That's Ghost's model. We're going to be doing it later on tonight. Keywords. This is a new thing to the data sheets, and it's at the bottom. It's split up into multiple different styles of faction keyword, unit keywords, and type keywords. I think that's pretty cool. The only ones that are really, really, really important is model type, such as flyer, vehicle, monster, army, Astartes, Adeptus Astartes, Sisters of Battle. Well, that actually says Adeptus Sororitas. Should just say Sisters of Battle, but whatever. Alright. Then we have the thing on the codexes where it tries to tell you that codexes aren't a thing anymore, but they totally are. They're going to be coming out later this year. I'm thinking about 2 months for it, but yeah. Then we have the modifying characteristics on the side. I've already told you about this, but if you want to read it yourself, it's on page 175 of your core rulebook. Core rules. Okay, so now we're actually getting into things. This is on page 176 of your rulebook. Core rules go over the basic what you do when you do it shit. It's pretty easy. Like, this game went from being difficult to mad easy. What?
Someone donated €1 and Imperial Knight donated $2. We're going to be doing it later on. About the joke of us making the freaking Wraith Knight.
I'm building your Wraith Knight later on tonight.
Yes.
I'm not doing them.
No, of course. She hates Eldar. She would never do it.
I hate Eldar. I hate Eldar with a passion.
I'll pay you to slap Ghost.
Ghost, get over here. Wait, how much of a donation? I will do that live. Models and data sheet. That covers exactly what they are. I don't need to explain that. Units. Models move and fight in units. Basically, if the guys form a unit with their unit composition, they stay together. You can't split them up. They have a 2-inch... they can move 2 inches apart from each other, but they have to stay within that 2-inch bubble. Okay, now you can take advantage of this and make a huge line of infantry. You can also take advantage of this and make a giant circle, but nowadays there's no real advantage to that except for, like, with orks who want to multi-charge or demons who want to multi-charge. Things like Space Marines are not going to be doing that. What?
$5 a slap.
Okay, get over here.
Oh, god damn it.
Get over here. I'll slap you for $5.
Oh, yeah. Make it quick. You're.
I love you,
well,
Ghost.
Imperial Knight donated $5.
Don't be mad at me, Ghost.
Nope. Makes you
Please.
money.
Please don't be mad.
No, I'm just scared of seeing how many $5 donations might appear.
$5 slap ghost. Okay.
Oh, fuck, they're coming.
Okay, how many? Oh my god.
Form. Slap ghost on camera. I want to see the pain in his eyes.
Alright, how many times do I gotta slap you?
One more time.
Okay, get over here.
Now.
Alright. I'm so sorry. Oh.
That's not enough. That's only 2 freaking pounds. Actually, that's technically $5.
No, 2 pounds is not $5.
A little
No, go back to school, Ghost. Jesus.
Christian stream. Oh, fuck, no!
Wait, is Zoran here?
Yep.
Oh, god damn it.
Was it followed up with keep that pimp hand strong, $5. No, that's 5 pounds.
Shit, that's... yeah. Alright, one more time and that's it. Do you want to slap me?
Yes.
No, don't slap me.
Okay, go. Get it done.
Okay, alright, I'm done slapping Ghost. Battlefield roles. Okay, now, comedy aside. I swear to God, somebody's...
Slap, not caress.
Anyway, Battlefield roles. The game is split up into 6 phases. They added one phase, which I really think was heavily needed for 40k, because it just made more sense to do it towards the end of the game, the end of the phase, rather than the end of each phase. So the phases are as followed. Movement phase. Gee, I wonder what you do during the movement phase. Psychic phase. I have no idea what you do during the psychic phase. Shooting phase. What the fuck could you do during that? Charge phase. Fight phase. They could have gotten a 2-year-old to write better phase names than this. And morale phase. Now the morale phase is actually kind of cool. I really do like the morale phase. It's the newest phase. Once a player has ended their opponent then starts... I had a bunch of idiots outside. Their opponent then starts their turn. Once both players have completed the turn, the battle round has been completed, and the next one begins, and so on. Now, that's very important because later on we might find out that at the end of a battle, battle round, if you have no units on the field, you lose. Which means that if you go first and deep strike everything, you won't immediately lose from having nothing on the battlefield. In older editions, certain armies had to come in on turn 1 and turn 2. And because of that, they actually immediately lost if they went first. I think that's kind of amusing. So, let's get into the movement phase. The movement phase is very simple. You take your guys and you look at the movement characteristic on their profile. It's referenced with the M. That's how far that unit can move. Now, cool thing to note, terrain no longer slows a unit. You no longer roll 2d6, choose the highest, or roll 3d6 if you have moved through cover. You simply move your movement speed. Everything has varying movement speeds, and just that's your max movement. You don't have to move, but that's as far as you can move. If a datasheet for a model says it can fly, it can move across the battlefield terrain as if it was not there. So that's like your jump infantry, your airplanes, your helicopters, which I still refer to the Space Marine vehicles, the Space Marine flyers, as helicopters, because that's what they more remind me of. Enemy models. All models in the same army are friendly models. Models controlled by the opposing player are enemy models. When you move a model in the movement phase, it may not be moved within 1 inch of an enemy model. Now, that's kind of cool also because that means that you can't move within 1 inch of a tank unless you're charging it now. Falling back. Units start the movement phase within 1 inch of an enemy, can either remain stationary or fall back. If you choose to fall back, the unit must end its movement phase more than 1 inch away from all enemy units. If a unit falls back, it cannot advance, see below. or later, see below, later on in that turn. A unit falling back also cannot shoot later that turn unless it can fly. Okay, so that means nowadays you can actually get into combat and then just choose to walk away from said combat. And the cool part about that is the act of walking away means that you cannot do anything else to the unit in front of you with this unit. Now, walking away from a model does mean the rest of your army can then barrage that close combat unit and destroy it. Alright, minimum movement. Some models that can fly have a move characteristic consisting of 2 values. Basically, it has to move a certain speed. Easy enough, right? You have the minimum movement and the maximum movement, and it can do whatever it wants in between them. The first is the model's minimum movement speed. In the movement phase, all parts of that model's base must... Oh, you measure by the base now for flyers. That's cool. That's actually really neat for movement purposes. So we'll keep that in mind for later on. Then, side of the page, we've got wobbly model syndrome. Now, I know a lot of people are going to take advantage of this, and I want to read this rule very, very carefully. Sometimes you may find that a particular piece of terrain is making it hard to put a model exactly where you want it. If you delicately balance it in place, it is very likely to fall as soon as somebody nudges the table. And considering that this is a game for bigger people, this tends to happen on occasion. I'm just kidding. It is very likely that somebody will nudge the table, leaving your painted model damaged or even broken. In cases like this, we find it perfectly acceptable to leave the model in a safer position as long as both players have agreed to knowing its actual location. If later on your enemy is considering shooting the model, you will have to hold it back in place, back in its proper place so that it can be checked if it's visible. That is very, 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 very stupid wording on GW's part. Both players have to agree is something that both players don't like to do. I've already heard of stories of people trying to take advantage of wobbly model syndrome, aka a battle wagon being stuck on side of a building, Demon Prince jumping on top of a rock or what would be considered impassable terrain in earlier editions. He can now land on it and be like, oh, well, I'm up here, but I'm going to put my model over here. Is that okay with you? Now, to be honest, in my store, we kind of house rule it that if you can't place the model, you can't move there. Like, it's really that simple. So that's a house rule of my own game store, okay? But I personally like that rule better than both players trying to agree on placement of a model and then... Because I know if my opponent was trying to be a dick and take advantage of moving and placing on certain pieces of terrain that his model could not actually fit on, I would constantly tell him to put it back so I can check if he's visible by a unit that's out of range, just because I can. But that's me being a dick. Reinforcements. Reinforcements are a cool thing. They're basically your reserves. Many units have this ability to set up on the battlefield mid-turn, sometimes by using teleportation, grab shoots, or other more exotic means. With these... I hate living in a redneck part of New York. Typically this happens at the end of movement phase, but it can also happen during other phases, such as summoning. Units that are set up in this manner cannot move or advance further during the turn that they have arrived. They enter movement phase is used in blah. I can speak, I swear. Other than that, it's pretty much that is their movement, is teleporting onto the battlefield. Units that arrive as reinforcements count as having moved in the movement phase for all rules purposes, such as shooting heavy weapons. See page 180. Any unit that has not arrived on the battlefield by the end of the battle count has as having been destroyed. Oh, okay. Any that I can read, I swear. Sorry. Any unit that has not arrived on the battlefield by the end of the battle counts as having been destroyed. If a model doesn't come in by turn 3, your turn 3, it is destroyed. So that's another interesting thing to keep in note. Boop. Now, we go on to the psychic phase. Psychic phase is a fun phase for me. Psychic powers have been dulled down quite a bit. They were really, 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 really powerful back in the day. And to be honest, I took full advantage of that with the Genestealer cult. I purposely summoned in like 2,000 points of stuff using broken combos. And I fought Tzeentch armies that would non-stop summoning. So it's very, very, very stupid that summoning was a thing. And it was very, very, very overpowered. Okay, psychic phase sequence. Choose a psyker and power. Make psychic tests. Enemy takes deny the witch. Resolve the psychic powers. So now we're going to learn what those do. Choosing a psyker and powers. Okay, some models are noted as being a psyker on their datasheet. Psykers can manifest their own otherworldly abilities and attempt to deny enemy sorcerers. The power a psyker knows are the number of powers that they can attempt to manifest in the psychic phase are detailed in their datasheet. So basically, some models can do 2 psychic powers, some can do 3. Magnus, for instance, can do 3, a Hive Tyrant can do 2. Psychic powers. Unless stated otherwise, all psykers know the Smite psychic power, which is the fucking lightning that shoots out of their hands, which is awesome. Some know other powers instead, or an additional power to Smite. You roll for that before the game begins based on your psychic power, and you take from the chart that it is allowed to be taken from. This will be stated in the rules for the psyker that you wish to take, such as a Hive Tyrant can take from the Brood Mind special powers, which is 3 of them, so it's really simple. Okay. Smite, making psychic tests. Now this changed since last edition, and I really think it's cool. I actually like this. It's reminiscent of 5th edition. Making a psychic test. A psyker can attempt to manifest a psychic power that they know by taking a psychic test. If they do so, roll 2d6. If the total is equal to or greater than the warp charge's value, the power is successful. Okay, so the way that works is I've seen a lot of the powers are psychic level 7. So you roll 2d6 and you try to get a 7 or greater. And then your opponent can attempt to deny the witch, if he can. If you successfully pass the test, you then immediately do the psychic power. Okay. Perils of the Warp. Now this is what every psyker fears. If you roll double 1s or double 6s when taking a psychic test, the psyker immediately suffers perils of the Warp. The psyker suffers D3 mortal wounds and is focused of Demon Hunt, Warp Claws, blah, 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 blah. If the psyker is slain by powers in the Warp, the powers... Okay, if you die by powers of the Warp, you don't do your power. And each unit... Ooh, this is actually way more interesting than what it was. It used to just be something like that. If the psyker is slain by powers of the Warp, the powers they were attempting to manifest automatically fail, and each unit within D6 immediately suffers D3 mortal wounds. As the psyker is dragged into the warp or else detonated in a burst of... Jesus, okay. So the psyker freaking explodes, which I think is amazing. I'm just imagining like, boom! Actually, I'm imagining the freaking orks taking full advantage of this and just rushing weird boys at people and forcing them to fail tests. It'd be really effective, actually. Deny the witch. A psyker can attempt to resist a psychic power that has been manifested by an enemy model within 24 inches by taking a Deny the Witch test. The test takes place immediately, even though it is not your turn. To do so, roll 2d6. If the total is greater than the result of the psychic test that manifested the power, it has been, it stops. It's negated. Only one attempt to deny the witch, only one attempt to deny each successful manifested psychic power can be made. So if you have like 5 psychers or 5 abilities to deny the witch, such as the Sisters of Battle who can do it, you can't just make all of those tests to try to deny the one guy. You have to simply make one test to deny one power. I think that's very quick and easy to do. Resolving a psychic power. You do what the damn thing says. Okay? Simple. I'm not gonna get into that. It's literally you just do what it says. RTFC. Has there been anything else so far?
Not for any page. A lot of people complain that you didn't slap me on camera.
I did slap you on camera.
I did.
Wait, were you off camera?
My face wasn't even close enough.
Oh my god, we have to do that again.
God damn it, no!
Hang on. We have to fix this. Get your face in camera. Because I did slap him. And I want this to be known.
Oh,
And it was just 2 slaps.
They all hurt. That was 3.
It was... okay, I'll do 3.
Oh god, no.
Get your face in here. Make sure you're here. Okay, there he is. 1, 2... Ow! Dick! Can't hit me back. That's rude.
Just a flick.
Rude. Okay. The shooting phase. Shooting sequence. Choose a unit to shoot with. Choose a target. Choose a ranged weapon. Resolve all attacks. Make a hit roll. Make a wound roll. Enemy wound allocates wounds. Enemy makes saving throws. Inflict damage. Simple enough, right? Choose a unit to shoot with. You point at it and go, I'm gonna shoot with these guys. Now, the cool thing is, you may not pick a unit that has advanced or fell back this turn, or a unit that is within 1 inch of an enemy unit, unless otherwise stated. Each model in the unit's attacks with all ranged weapons, not just 1 or 2. If they have ranged weapons, they all use them. So if you somehow got a guy dual-wielding bolters just to kill extra heretics, he keeps firing. Alright. After all of the units' models have fired, you can choose another unit to shoot with until all eligible units that want to basically, you just keep choosing until you're done. Until everything has shot, at least in the shooting phase. Easy way of doing this, if you're doing a large-scale game, is take markers, Skittles work, just put them next to your guys as you shot with them, and just move on. Choosing a target. Point at a bad guy. Shoot at them. You can't shoot at anything within 1 inch. Models cannot target enemy units that are within 1 inch of a friendly model. The risk of hitting your own troopers is too great. Wait, really? Even for orcs? Orcs wouldn't give a shit about that. They'd be like, oi, those boys is fighting. Oh, we'll send bullets over there. That'll help. Might make them fight better. Choose a ranged weapon. Look on your data sheet. Pick one of the ranged weapons that the character has. Resolve the shooting attacks with all of those weapons that match. Then move on to the next weaponry. Each weapon can actually fire at a different target, which I think is really, 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 really badass. So if you have, say you have a standard tactical squad, 10 members. Your sergeant has a combi flamer. You have a meltagun in that squad and a rocket launcher in that squad, a missile launcher in that squad. You can take all of the bolters, fire at one target, target A. Then you can take all of the meltagun, fire at target B. The combi flamer can then target unit C, fire that. Then the rocket launcher can target a separate unit and fire at that. Or you can just be completely focused and shoot at one target and completely destroy it. That's usually what I do. I try to build my squads very, very similar to do a certain role. Number of attacks. Look on your weapon. It says a number next to what type of weapon it is. That's it. Characters. Some models are noted as being characters on their datasheet. These heroes, officers, or perhaps prophets and warlords are powerful individuals that make a great impact. I don't fucking care about all of the lore for them. A character can only be chosen as a target in the shooting phase if they are the closest visible enemy unit to the model that is shooting them. This does not apply to characters with a wound characteristic of 10 or greater. So if you're shooting at, for instance, a Hive Tyrant, you can actually target him even though he's further back. But if you want to target a character, you have to target the unit in front of him first. Sorry. So note to self, keep combat units in front of Gilliman if you're going to use him. Rolling fast dice. As you play the game more and more, you can pick up dice a lot quicker. You'll start memorizing them. Just make sure your opponent's aware of it. Or abilities. Characters actually have a bubble around them of special abilities that they affect. They have AoE effects. It's really that simple. And you just read under their abilities and they apply that. So now, we're on the next page. Yay! Oh geez, it's going to get right into this. The weapon types. Okay. So, weapon types. This is what the weapons are. Easy enough. Alright, so let's read this. A model shooting one of these weapons can make a number of attacks equal to the number written on its profile after its type. For example, firing an assault 1 means you can shoot once. Firing a heavy 3 means you can fire 3 times. If a weapon has more than one attack, it must make all of its attacks against the same target. Each type of ranged weapon also has an additional rule that, depending upon the situation, might affect the accuracy of the weapon or when it comes to being fired. Okay, weird wording. Assault weapons. A model with an assault weapon can fire even if they advanced earlier in the turn. Kind of really interesting. Advancing is basically running. I actually think I skipped that rule. Whoopsie daisy, my bad. Heavy. If you moved, you take a -1 to your ballistic skill. So if you hit on a 3 plus, you now hit on a 4 plus. Easy enough, right? Rapid fire. If you're within half a range of the weapon, it doubles the amount of shots that it takes against the target. I.e. a bolter has a rapid fire of 1, meaning its max range is 24, so if you're within 12 inches of that, it takes 2 shots at you. Grenades. Each time a unit shoots, a single model in the unit that is equipped with a grenade may throw it instead of firing any other weapons. So he gives up all of his shooting attacks to chuck a grenade at an enemy. And then you follow the simple rules for grenades. Pistols. Now, pistols got a huge buff in my opinion. A model can fire a pistol even though they are within 1 inch of an enemy. But it mustn't target the closest enemy unit. In such circumstances, a model can shoot its pistol even if other friendly units are within 1 inch of the same unit. So you can always fire your pistols into, an enemy. Actually, this is interesting. The model can shoot its pistol even if other friendly units are within 1 inch of the same enemy unit. Does that mean you can fire into close combat? Interesting. We'll have to look that up in a little bit. Each time a model equipped with both a pistol and another type of ranged weapon, i.e. a pistol and a rapid fire weapon, shoots, it can either shoot with its pistols or with its other weapons. Choose which it will fire with, pistols or non-pistol, before making the rolls. Okay. We'll go to the other time. Now we have resolving attacks. Okay. Hit rolls. Each time a model makes an attack, roll a dice. If the roll is equal to or greater than the attacker's ballistic skill characteristic, you score a hit. 3 plus, you hit. If your ballistic skill is 3 plus. 4 plus if your ballistic skill is 4 plus and you hit the guy. Wound. Now, wounding is pretty simple nowadays. Toughness can go higher than 10, but it's broken down into a simple table. So the attacker's strength versus the target's toughness. You roll a d6. If your weapon is twice the toughness of the enemy, i.e. you shoot a melt-a-gun, which is strength 8, at a Space Marine, you wound on a 2+, because 4 doubled is 8. If the strength is greater than the toughness, it's a 3+. So if I shoot a plasma gun at the same Marine, plasma gun being strength 7 if you don't overcharge it, and I know somebody's going to bring that up, but an unovercharged weapon, strength 7 versus a toughness of 4, you will wound on a 3. If the strength is equal to the toughness, now if you shoot a bolter at a Space Marine, the bolter's strength is 4, the toughness is 4, you wound on 4s. Is the strength lower than the toughness? You shoot a las gun at a Space Marine, strength 3 versus toughness 4, you wound on a 5+. Is the strength half, i.e. a las gun versus a carnifex? You will wound it on a 6. I think that's really, 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 really easy. Alright, and ones always fail. Allocating wounds. If an attack successfully wounds the target, the player commanding the target unit allocates the wound to any model in the unit. The chosen model does not have to be within range or visibility of the attacking unit. If a model in the target unit has already lost a wound, the damage must be allocated to that model. So you can't hide like your wounded guys in the back anymore, but you can take away your bolters before you lose your melt-a-guns. So you can pull away fill-ins or crap guys instead of your special weapons that are going to do more damage later on. Okay. How long is this stream so far? I feel like it's been going on for a while.
35 minutes.
Oh, okay. Saving throws. The player commanding the target unit then... the target unit, so the one that you shot at, then makes saving throws. By rolling dice and modifying the roll by the armor penetration characteristic of the weapon that caused the damage. For example, if a weapon has an armor penetration of -1, then subtract 1 from the saving throw. I.e., if you shoot at a Space Marine with a weapon that has a -1 AP, the Space Marine's 3+ save goes to a 4+. Ones always fail. Okay? So if you fail it, you're wounded. If you're wounded at 0, you die. Okay. The damage inflicted is equal to the damage characteristics of the weapon used in the attack. A model loses 1 wound for each point of damage it suffers. If a model's wounds are reduced to 0, it is either slain or destroyed and removed from play. If the model loses several wounds from a single attack and is destroyed, the excess damage inflicted by that attack are lost and have no effect. I.e., if I shoot a melt-a-gun at a Space Marine and inflict 6 wounds to the Space Marine squad, only 1 guy will die. Now, there are exceptions to this, and we're going to get to those. Invulnerable saves. We're going to get to those in just a second. Invulnerable saves never change. So if you have a Storm Shield, you have a 3-up save against any weapon no matter what. Except for certain weapons that have a certain rule. Terrain and cover. If a unit is entirely on or within any piece of terrain, add 1 to its modifying saving throw against shooting attacks to represent the cover received from the terrain. Invulnerable saves are not affected. Units gain no benefits from cover in the fight phase. So terrain no longer has like these crazy amount of rules where, well, this is ruins, so it's 4+ save, but if I go to ground in those ruins, I have a 3+ save, but I also have stealth and shrouded, so I have a 2-up save, and now I'm going to give it prescience or whichever is the bullshit Eldar one that allows him to re-roll it. So now I have a unit that has a 1 in 36 chance of being wounded, which is bullcrap. So there's no more of that. We're done with that crap. Now it's just -1. So if you have a save characteristic of 3 for a Space Marine, you now have a 2. If you have a save for an orc, which is 6, and you're in ruins, you now have a 5-up save. And this is orcs unupgraded. Mortal wounds. Some attacks inflicted inflict mortal wounds. These are so powerful that no armor or force field can withstand their fury. It's kind of a stupid way of saying D weapons are still in the game. Each mortal wound inflicts 1 point of damage to the target unit. Do not make a wound roll or saving throws, including invulnerable saves against a mortal wound. Just allocate it as you would any other wound and inflict damage to a model in the target unit as described above. Unlike normal attacks, excess damage from attacks that inflict mortal wounds are not lost. Instead, you pile them onto the next guy. So, like a las cannon that... does las cannon have mortal wounds? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I know the D weapons, the old D weapons do. Like the Wraith Knight's D-beam still does.
Yes.
Okay.
Wraith Knight. The glorious Wraith Knight.
I will throw that thing out the window.
When are you going to get Magnus?
I'm going to kill you. Okay. It's getting hot in here.
Let's resist singing.
Don't you dare. Okay. Does anybody have any comments or questions about that so far that you have seen, Ghost?
About the...
About the phases that I just talked about?
Not really.
Okay, simple enough.
They're mostly discussing amongst themselves.
Huh, weird. The charge phase. This is when you charge. Choose a unit to charge with. Choose a target. Enemy resolves Overwatch. Roll 2d6 and make a charge move. Choosing a unit. Any of your units within 12 inches of an enemy in the charge phase may make a charge move. Now, this is funny that they put this in there, because in 7th edition, you could actually charge things out of your range and destroy them if they were falling back. And I thought that was really funny, and that's a rule that I took advantage of, Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all the time, I would charge things just to force those leadership chests until he died. You may not choose a unit that advanced or fell back this turn, nor one that has started the charge phase within 1 inch of an enemy. Huh, that's interesting. You can't charge falling back units anymore. Choosing a target. Once you have chosen an eligible unit, select one or more enemy units within 12 inches of them as the targets. If the target... as the target of the charge. Each target unit can attempt to fire Overwatch. And no, marker lights do not work on Overwatch anymore, ever. They do not. It is stated very clearly here that they don't. Each time a charge is declared against a unit, the target unit can immediately fire Overwatch at its would-be attackers. The target unit can potentially fire Overwatch several times in a turn, though it cannot fire if there is an enemy model within 1 inch of it. Overwatch is resolved like a normal shooting attack. Albert 1 resulted in the enemy's charge phase. You resolve it in the enemy's charge phase. And use all of the normal rules except that sixes are always required for successful hit rolls. So it doesn't matter if you alter your ballistic skill or take away the enemy's cover. You always need 6s to hit. Okay. Making a charge move. After any Overwatch has been resolved, roll 2d6 each. I fucking hate Harleys with a passion. After any Overwatch has been resolved, roll 2d6 for each model that charges an enemy unit can move up to the number of inches. This is the charge distance this turn. The first model that you move must finish within 1 inch of an enemy model from one of the target units. No model in the charging unit can move within 1 inch of an enemy unit that was not a target of its charge. If this is impossible, the charge fails, and no models in the charging units move this phase. Okay, so you roll 2d6, you determine how far you can charge, you move that far, so long as one guy can actually touch the enemy. Touchy. Simple enough. Heroic interventions. After the enemy has completed all of their charge moves, any of your characters within 3 inches of an enemy may perform a heroic intervention. Any that do so can move up to 3 inches so long as they end their movement closer to the nearest enemy model. That's kind of cool. Okay, the fight 'em up phase. Choose a unit to fight with. Pile in up to 3 inches. Choose a target. Choose a melee weapon. Resolve close combat attacks. Make hit rolls. Make wound rolls. Enemy allocates wounds. Enemy makes saving throws. Inflict damage. Consolidate 3 inches. Okay? Choose a unit to fight with. Well, one of those guys that you charge with, you point at and go, I'm going to punch with these guys. That's pretty much it. Pile in. You may move each model up to 3 inches. This move can be in any direction so long as the model ends the movement closer to the nearest enemy. Okay, so you just pile in a little bit more to get more attacks. Choose targets. First you must pick the target unit or units for the attacks. To target an enemy unit, the attacking model must either be within 1 inch of the unit or within 1 inch of another model that is from the same... 1 inch from a guy that is within 1 inch of it. So basically you have a 2-inch bubble around the enemies that you can fight with. This represents the units fighting in 2 ranks. Models that charge this turn can only target enemy units that they charged in the previous phase. Okay. If a model can make more than 1 close combat attack, see right, it can split them between the eligible target units as you wish. So if you can make 2 attacks, you can attack your 2 targets once each. Okay, now we move on to over here. Whoops, it's too much. Number of attacks. The number of close combat attacks a model makes against its target is determined by its attack characteristic. You roll 1 dice for each close combat attack being made. For example, if a model has 2 attack characteristics of 2, it makes 2 close combat attacks, and therefore you roll 2 dice. Simple enough, right? Choose a melee weapon. You look at the list of the war gear available, you select a melee weapon or a fist and punch with it. Okay. Resolving close combat attacks. Choose a close combat attacks can be made 1 at a time, or in some cases you can roll the dice for the number of attacks together. Oh god, yeah, you get a bucket of dice back. You compare it to your weapon skill, and then that's what you need to hit. So if your weapon skill is a 3+, you need a 3+ to hit in close combat. If your weapon skill is a 4+, you need a 4+ to hit in close combat. Okay. Ironically, it's not saying that you attack first when you charge. That's interesting. Maybe I missed something? No, I don't think I missed anything. Choose a unit to fight with. All units that have charged this turn fight first. Okay, it's in choose to fight with. Okay, so if you charge, you fight first. Consolidation. You may move each model in the unit up to 3 inches. This move can be in any direction so long as you end closer to an enemy model. Morale phase. In the morale phase, starting with the player whose turn it is, players must take morale tests for each unit in their armies that have had models slain this turn. To take a morale test, roll a dice and add the number of models from the unit that have been slain this turn. So, multi-wound models only count as 1 towards this. That's very important. If the result of the morale test succeeds the highest leadership characteristic in the unit, the test is failed. Oh, exceeds. So if your highest leadership is 8 and you roll a 10, add it up to the 5 guys that you lost, plus 5 on your d6, you fail. Okay? For each point that the test is failed by, 1 model in the unit must flee and is removed from play. You choose which model flees from the unit you command. Blah, 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 blah. Transports. Some models are noted as being transports in their datasheet. These vehicles, blah, 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 blah. I don't care about that. They can carry units. Transport capacity. All transports have a capacity listed on the datasheet. This determines how many friendly models and of what type can be carried in the transport. When you set up a transport, units can start the battle embarked within it instead of being set up separately. Declare what units are embarked. Embarking. All models within a unit must end their movement within 3 inches of a friendly transport. They can embark within it. Okay? Embarking units cannot normally do anything or be affected by in any way whilst they are embarked unless stated. If a transport is destroyed, any unit embarked within it immediately disembarks, see below, before the transport model is removed, but you must then roll a dice for each model you just set up on the battlefield. For each one, a model that disembarked, your choice, is slain. So if a vehicle explodes and is removed, you roll a dice for each guy inside it. So if a rhino blows up with 10 guys inside it, you roll 10 dice, and on the ones, say like 2 or 3 of them are ones, you remove 2 to 3 dude guys. Disembark. Any unit that begins its movement phase embarked within a transport can disembark before the vehicle moves. When a unit disembarks, it sets up on the battlefield so that is within 3 inches of the transport and not within 1 inch of an enemy model. Any disembarking models that cannot be set up were slain because, I don't know, the fucking door slammed on them. Units that disembark can act normally, move, shoot, charge, fight, etc. during the remainder of the turn. Note that if you disembark, you still count as moving for certain weapons. Okay, then it gives examples of how the turns work, and this I suggest that you read at your leisure. Fighting a battle, it selects the missions and everything, but I just wanted to go over the basic core rules of 8th edition. Yeah. Okay, so what we learned from this is vehicles don't need a firing arc. They can fire 360. It doesn't matter where the weapons are pointed. Stealth and shrouded are pretty much gone. And terrain, no matter what, does not really affect you. That's it. So that was fun. So let's start the Q&A if you guys have any questions about all the shit that I read and have any comments about it whatsoever, or if I got something wrong, please tell me. Please ask your questions now. I'm pretty sure Ghost grabbed questions as it was going by, so if he wants to ask them now, that would be great.
WTF suit. Why is there Eldar in the background?
Because I fucking hate them, and Ghost plays Eldar because...
we use the hate. It's a project we're going to be working on later.
It is a project.
Alright, which armies are good in 8th edition? Dark Eldar, question mark, from Dominic?
I don't know too much about the Dark Eldar or the Eldar in general, except for I hate them. The Eldar, from what I saw briefly, I'm going to be doing a video on each different faction coming up very soon. Look forward to that. But from what I saw from the Eldar, just as an overview, they do a lot of mortal wound weapons. So they are going to be very good at taking out infantry. And basically everything still. So Eldar is still going to be good.
Knight asked, how are you doing?
What? I'm doing well.
More about the Eldar. Have you heard anything about the Imperial Guard in 8th edition?
They can ally with Genestealer cult and Tyranids. If you take Genestealer cult, you can pick units from those 2 armies. I think that's pretty cool. As for the Imperial Guard, the Astra Militarum, I'm going to be doing a video on them very soon. I have not had a chance to look into anything but the Sisters of Battle and Space Marines.
Does Magnus snore?
Next question.
Have you broken to Magnus's castle yet to burn down the fanfiction section?
Next question. And no.
This is about after people were commenting on the Wraith Knight. Where's the Magnus?
Fucking hell, I hate Magnus. Stop bringing him up.
It's because Swarm didn't do that. He just sent a bag of dicks instead.
Yeah, the bag of dicks is funny.
Right? That bit about 10 plus wounds, that meaning I take it from that fat ass stuff don't get protection from an infantry shield, such as a Knight Titan doesn't get cover. If Abaddon had 12 plus wounds, he can't hide, can he?
No, if a model has more than 10 wounds when you target it, and it's a character, you can actually just target it first and shoot him if you want. So like Marinus Kalgar, Abaddon, the Swarm Lord, you can target them if they're further back than the rest of the army.
Nice.
But things such as the Space Marine Captain, who has less than 10 wounds, you have to target everything else around him first. I love this cup.
Best cup. How many shots did the Redeemer get?
I think it's heavy. It's rapid fire 6. So when things get close to it, that's a fuck ton of shots. It gets 24 shots by bolter, 12 shots by assault cannon, 1 shot by multi-melta, 2 shots by storm bolter. It's a beast.
So just floor it and kill shit.
Yeah. You get that thing immediately as close to the enemy as possible and just shoot everything. Oh wait, the Redeemer? Or was that the Crusader?
I said Redeemer.
Oh, I heard Crusader. I like the Crusader. I didn't look up the Redeemer too much anyway.
The Redeemer has the 2.
Yeah, it has the 2 flamers.
So I think that would actually be pretty good.
Yeah, because it can move like 10 inches, I think. From what I remember. But Crusader, this edition, is the way to go.
Prey took on your hate for Harleys as fighting words. So what did you say about Harleys, he asked?
Oh, I hate the Harleys outside my house. Specifically, those ones.
Because they love to rev their engine for no reason.
Yeah, I like cruisers. Those are pretty nice. I mean, a crotch rocket is better, but still.
You need to fix your bike.
I do need to fix my bike.
It's a cool bike. You showed me it. Alright, so... do you like the Drukhari? They seem to enjoy similar interests to yourself.
Drukhari?
Dark Eldar, he was trying to get around it.
Oh, nah. I like them. They do my bidding. That's about it.
Right. Why do you want to throw a model out the window?
Because I hate it.
You love the Wraith Knight. You love Magnus.
No, the Wraith Knight I actually find is a lot easier to kill than Magnus. I mean, I've killed Wraith Knights in 6th and 7th edition with just...
It's just a jump gargantuan creature. It's just when the asshole puts fortune on it.
Well, it's when the asshole puts fortune and freaking stealth on it, yeah, that it becomes the problem.
I have a invisible flying giant creature, basically.
That can fire 4D shots a turn.
Yep.
Do all armies have a Psyker? If not, how will they deny the Witch? Also, in 8th edition, will most legions get a 40k Primarch like 30k series? Not all armies have Psykers. Flat out, they just don't. Sisters of Battle don't have Psykers, but they do have something for taking it down. They have a lot of special rules that allow them to stop psychic powers. But, you could take 2 detachments and bring a Psyker in the 2nd detachment to help negate enemy Psykers.
Any idea how good Custodians and Sisters of Silence are going to be in 8th edition?
Custodians and Sisters currently, no, they are, as far as I can tell, not in any books, but I may have missed them, so I am sorry. But I have not looked into them just yet. I will be doing a video on them once they come out.
Well, if they actually have any rules for them, wouldn't the Custodians have a better stat line than the Primus, so they'd be actually better for elite choice?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Alright, This one you're gonna like. Question: are my nids gonna be good?
God, yes. Holy shit, nids are fucking beautiful.
Swarm armies are happy now.
Okay, so let me tell you about drop potting in a Swarm Lord, using Onslaught, and killing a Titan in turn 1. Yeah. That happened. That happened. And I was super excited. Now, granted, that was extremely unlikely. But yes. It's beautiful. Drop pod Tyranids are back with a vengeance. Freaking Hormigons actually being able to kill things using their toxin attacks and their close combat attacks. The 2 weapon system is a bit meh. Warriors not dying to strength 8 weapons immediately, instead taking 2 wounds and just going like this, whatever, I don't care, and moving forward and keep going with their crazy ass weaponry. Shrikes are actually good again. Oh my god, the Tyranids got a massive buff that they needed, and they have Genestealers back. They didn't call them Genestealers, and in their codex we might actually see their named characters. Like the other named characters. I am super excited about Tyranids, and I can't wait to do that video.
Okay. Question: are vehicle accessories such as Dozer Blade, Extra Armor still a thing in 8th edition?
Dozer Blades actually give you close combat attacks with vehicles.
Always equip them.
Yeah. Yeah, they're eh. I mean, I think they auto come with them now instead, or something along those manner. It was, yeah.
Anyway, add it to your model, it looks cool.
It looks cool, and it gave me a close combat attack with a Chimera. Do Nids have any pistols? Yes, they do. Fleshbore. Their twin-linked gun, their little fist guns, Spine Fists, are pistols. Yes, I did a hand motion to remember that. Shut up.
Not just that, it's just the fact that it's like spine pistol. No, spine fist. That's our pistol.
Yeah, shut up. Anyway.
No, well, I may be mistaken on the D part. That.
Oh, look at that. Ghost is wrong on D weapons.
I thought you could equip 4 to the Wraith Knight.
Go figure. You're wrong.
Me.
Like always.
The star cannons.
Anyway. Sorry, I never learned the name of the Eldar weaponry. I just know that it has that it has 2D weapons, and it can re-roll them because stupid. Any more?
No, I'm actually at the bottom. No one.
Okay.
People are just bickering.
Alrighty. So, if anybody else has any other questions, please ask them now. We are right up to the chat at this point, and I am super excited for 8th edition. I'm going to go and play a game in just a little bit, and then I'm probably going to head out to Zombie Planet here in New York to go and play another game of 8th edition tonight. Unfortunately, both these games will not be recorded, so whoopsie daisy.
Boo.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I get to sit and watch.
How does it re-roll? Wraithseer? No, I think it, if the one weapon hits, it re-rolls. Yeah, if the scatter laser hits, it re-rolls the other weapons. Eldar are broken in 8th. That isn't true.
We'll find out.
No, there's no army that's broken in 8th yet. I mean, the game's only... You need 3 months of testing before you can figure out if something's broken. Or at least 1 month of testing with me.
Where will you leave Ghosty when you go out?
Where will you leave Ghost when you go out? I tie him to the porch.
No, she's lying. She's making it sound better. It's the radiator.
Alright, sorry. You know, I'm just trying to... Yeah. Well, I don't take Ghost out in public. It's weird.
Yeah. You might assume things. What is the name of the book where the female captain slaps Angron?
Oh god, I would have to ask,
Gremlays?
I'd have to ask Gremlays for that one. But I know it happens. Question, Subterranean Uprising still really good? Subterranean Uprising is gone. There is no Subterranean Uprising anymore. Yeah. That sucked. Mass Infantry is the way to go in 8th edition. Like, I'm probably going to do Mass Neophytes and Acolytes. Like, I'm probably going to do 10-man Acolyte squads just to make sure things die. How do you think GW is going to balance these new new changes with the living rule set. Basically, at the end of the year, they're going to be doing Q&As throughout the year and writing everything down and being all like, all right, this is broken, whoopsie daisy, our bad, and let's change this. So every year they're going to be updating the rule books. And I think the updates are going to be made free, but I could be wrong on that.
Are land hailers still a thing in 8th, and what effect do they have on your immolators, rhinos, exorcist pen, and
The loud holler. Actually,
yeah.
let me check that really quickly because I can't remember what they do.
While you're looking for that, I'll go.
Yeah, just keep going.
With
through
the warp crack expanding and the orcs calling it Gork's Grin, could it be Gork and Mork manifesting itself like Slaanesh?
Actually, maybe.
The galaxy is doomed. Once a giant orc appears in material space, going oi.
That would be really funny. Okay, so let's see. Loud howler. I know it does something because we have the character that does it, and I know I wanted to take the Delgatus. Where is she?
Thoughts on the change to the battle focus eldar special rule?
I did not read it yet. I am sorry.
It is broken. I agree. It needs to be killed.
Loud howler. Friendly Adeptus Sororitas units within 6 inches of this can reroll failed morale tests. So it's pretty much exactly the same. It didn't really change too much. Okay. I do want to read the Eldar and do a faction focus on them and just see where... I want people to see my point of view on the Eldar because I don't play them. I play against them on occasion. So it'll be a lot of how I'm going to overcome their weaknesses. Get that fucking thing out of here. I will throw a melt-a-gun at you. Anyway. Loud howlers are no longer vehicle equipment. That might be the case. Let me check that as well. Alright, let's see. Weapon special, war gear, ranged. Melee weapons. Oh, it doesn't look like vehicles have their own war gear section. Oop. And... okay, let's go with the Exorcist and see if it can have it. Options, no. Options, no. The Immolator. Options, no. Wow, okay. The Loud Howlers are gone off of vehicles. That sucks, because I literally have them on almost all of my vehicles.
That sucks. Yeah, how do you feel about Mortal Wounds? Does it seem too strong?
How do I feel about Mortal Wounds? Well, they're D-weapons, so yes, they're really fucking powerful. But there's not going to be many of them, and the armies that are going to be able to spam them, such as the Eldar, because I know that they can, they'll have to deal with a lot of things being able to come down really quickly and destroy them. So it's really about target focus versus the D-weapons themselves. And I keep calling them D-weapons, the mortal wound weapons. So one of the things that I really want to do with it is... Ghost, I swear to God, I'm going to punch you. One of the things that I want to do... I lost my train of thought, you ass. Actually, what you can do with the Loud Howlers now is just put them on a base and count them as a Delgatus.
Yeah, that's what someone said. Can't be equipped vehicles anymore. Only a special ability for Delgatus.
Yeah, and I mean the Delgatus is kind of fucking useless too. I'd rather take the Banner and the Hospitaller. Loud Howlers and Hunter Killer Missiles sound like systems now. They do. I really like the Hunter Killer Missile this edition. I think it's kind of funny. Just turn one, just unload every single weapon you have into an enemy.
My poor fire prisms.
Ha. Question. If I got you a Wraith Knight body pillow, would you show it on your stream or just burn it immediately?
Do it, she'll cuddle it.
I will show it on stream. I will not burn it. I actually like body pillows, so... I do want like a giant collection of body pillows. That'd be fun.
All of them Warhammer 40k base.
Oh God, yes.
Alright, someone make a Titus one as well.
No, not a Titus one.
Oh.
I'm not really.
Cato Sicarius, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of Sicarius. Yeah, I'd do that. Read anything on the Grey Knights? If so, how do they look? I have not yet. Or a Magnus pillow. If I actually got a Magnus pillow, I would keep it. I'm not gonna lie.
No, make it your vein one.
Alexis, why does Arch not want to be on Adeptus podcast? Arch is a fucking cunt, is why.
Oi, man on hard there.
What? He's got a superiority complex that makes me look like an average person.
Is it superiority or is it something with walruses?
That too. By the way, I missed the sister order recap. Retinue's still an HQ slot for the Adeptus Sororitas. Let's see. Retinues I know are gone, and I think they all got split up to elites.
Condemner Bolt gun now not combi.
Called it. Fucking called it. Yeah, they split up the command squad into a bunch of different elite slots. Yeah, it's just a bunch of different elite slots.
Oh, is that so so people can't spam a special shot?
Yeah, it's kind of whatever. Question: does Arch have a walrus fetish? Apparently. I don't know, I kind of, after I lost complete interest in his RP series, I just kind of left. Arch doesn't like Remlays and Michael, so I heard he doesn't like anybody.
If they're 40k YouTuber, he doesn't like them.
He likes Alpha. That's about it.
Of course, Alpha makes everyone laugh.
Yeah, everybody loves Alpha. You can't not love him.
That's a comedy sitcom. Everybody loves Alpha.
It is. Anyway, guys, I am going to be wrapping this one up in just a second. So, if you have any last-minute questions, please ask them now. I will give you, like, a minute to respond, and then I'm probably going to get going. That's because Arch is... I'm not going to read that.
That's a little mean.
Question. Any news on Chaos Legion special rules? Yes, the Chapter Tactics, Fleet Tactics, Seps, Craft Worlds are all going to have their own unique rules, apparently, in a book coming up very soon, or in their unique codex. So, yeah. His RP seemed more focused on being true to the setting rather than enjoyable. If you're you're basically dead. If you're human, you're basically dead. No, his RP seemed way too fantasy. Like, it wasn't 40k at all. Like, you started on a spaceship naked.
Age of Sigmar.
Okay. Why? Oh, well, because you're a rogue trader. No. Hey, Ghost, do you want to howl this? That was a bitch howl. Okay. Ghost can't howl.
No, I can't.
No, you cannot howl.
No,
Stop it. Stop it. That's an embarrassment. Don't worry, Trader Legion Codex will be out by 2024. Yeah. Yeah, well.
Trader Legion.
They're so much better than he is that it's insulting to Remlays and Michael. Oh my god. Well, at least when I talked to Remlays and Michael and they read the recap of Gathering Storm, they didn't immediately think the warp was closing, which is probably the funniest thing that Arch has ever said. Like, immediately, it exploded. But you couldn't be any more wrong.
Did anyone ever read Book 2 is the question.
I did. I actually enjoyed Book 2. I enjoyed Book 3 a lot more, but I didn't enjoy the announcement about Book 3 about Abaddon still being alive. I really thought he would have just died and, yeah, just died horribly. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. I have to get going. I'm Alexis, Ego Queen. I love you guys. Bye.